do something about it. So this is a very important and potent sign. Sign number 4. Sign number 4 concerns itself with the fact that we live in an increasingly secular society, a godless society. And perhaps in many ways it was characterised by an advertising campaign on the sides of buses where atheists had this put up. I think a lot of them would have preferred it to have been even a stronger message than this, but they had put up, there's probably no God. I think a lot of them would like to have said, there is no God. So what did they say? Stop worrying and enjoy your life. Have a good time. Eat, drink, for tomorrow we don't. And that is the philosophy of a secular society. That is why we say that the society we live in is increasingly secular in its nature. And God tells us in very specific terms that this is how it will be. Peter, in writing his second epistle, says this, the words of God himself by the Spirit. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. Perhaps this is characterised by Richard Dawkins in his recent book. He says what we're talking about is a complete delusion. They scoff at the idea that Christ is going to return to the earth and he's going to transform things. But if it happens in their lifetime, well, they're definitely going to have to eat their words, because Christ will return. But the society we are part of is an increasingly godless one. Sign number 5. Here I'd just like to refer to the fact that, which was mentioned in the exhibition, that there are many ecumenical movements across the world. Many attempts to bring together different faiths and to find common ground, or to find what really amounts to the lowest common denominator between them. And we can see that in some of these pictures. Here is the Pope meeting with all different faiths around the world, meeting with the leader of the Anglican Church, Jewish leaders, with leaders of the Eastern Orthodox Church, of Buddhists, and all sorts of different faiths around the world, trying to ease the way to sort of be a bit more friendly to one another and perform shared services and so on. But this isn't the route to get to the truth. To get to the truth, we don't get together groups of people and discuss what we want to believe. And that's what they're doing. They're saying, you know, well, I believe this, you believe that, let's see. Well, what about if we said this? Would that be acceptable to both of us? That's completely the ideas of men again, isn't it? It's the corruption of the truth. If they want to get to the truth, they should be going to one place and one place alone, and that is God's Word, the Bible. But do they? No, they do not. And yet, it is so crucially important. It's not a matter that we can choose about, you know, pick and choose, you know, well, I like the Catholics better than the Anglicans. No. What we need to believe is the gospel message of Jesus, and that's what Paul says in his epistle to the Galatians. But though we, or an angel from heaven, preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. As we said before, so say I now again, if any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be accursed. For do I now persuade men or God, or do I seek to please men? You see, this is what they're doing. They're seeking to please themselves as to what they should do together. If I yet pleased men, I should not be the servant of Christ. We cannot please men and be the servant of Christ at the same time. But I certify you, brethren, that the gospel which was preached of me is not after man, for I neither received it of man, neither was I taught it, but by the revelation of Jesus Christ. So it's no good looking for solutions to the differences in the different faiths by cooperation with one another. The only place we can find truth is by going back to the Bible and seeing what God has to say and the important things he has to say about the return of Christ. Which brings us to our last sign, perhaps in some ways the most shocking sign. And we're going to go back to that passage that we had as our keynote passage at the beginning. Look at it just once again in Thessalonians. And it speaks of the man of sin being revealed, if you remember. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, that's the day of the return of Christ, except there come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Now we saw about the falling away, we saw the decline in church attendance. But here is this man of sin revealed, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitting in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Now, who is this person? Who is this person strutting around the earth, pretending to be God? Well, I have to tell you, that man of sin is this man. Now that's shocking, isn't it? Because here is a man, Pope Benedict, and it's not just Pope Benedict, by the way, it's all the kind of popes. I'm not singling Pope Benedict out, but Pope Benedict, who is meant to be the most holy and devout and religious person and holder of truth in the whole world. A man who people look at, yet he is described by the Bible as being that man of sin. It's shocking, isn't it? How can I say that, you may say? What grounds do I have for saying that? Well, let's look now at what is the teaching of the Catholic Church concerning the Pope. And I'm going to put up here an extract from the Catholic Catechism, which is the foundation of their beliefs, the truths of their beliefs. And this is what it says. The Pope takes the place of Jesus Christ on earth. That's a good start, isn't it? So the Pope is Christ on earth. So we don't need Christ in heaven because the Pope's on earth. By divine right, no lesser authority, he claims, the Pope has supreme and full power in faith and morals over each and every pastor and his flock. So everyone in the Catholic Church is subject to the Pope and the rule of the Pope. He is the true vicar of Christ, the head of the entire church, the father and teacher of all Christians. So not just the Catholic Church, but every Christian in the earth. I expect the others would have something to say about that, but that's what he claims. Every Christian in the earth is subject to him. It gets better. He is the infallible ruler, so he can make no mistakes. If we look back over the history of the Catholic Church, it doesn't look like it to me, but that's what he claims. He claims he is infallible, the founder of dogmas, so he can supplement the Bible with his own encyclicals, the author of and judge of councils, the universal ruler of truth. So it gets bigger and bigger. So not just now the Christians, but everyone in the world. He is the source of truth for everyone in the world, the arbiter of the world, the supreme judge of heaven and earth. He's not satisfied with just earth now, but also heaven. You cannot believe it, can you? You cannot believe it. The judge of all, being judged by one, God himself on earth. He is God himself on earth, he claims. How does that fit with that passage we were looking at, where the man of sin is revealed in the second epistle of Paul to the Thessalonians? Well, look, it fits exactly, doesn't it? Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped. He puts himself above everyone. He claims to be as Christ himself. And he shows